What about him? We've heard a lot about him in the spring and then again in the fall. What have you seen from him?
Well, he's been hurt. I mean, he's battling a pulled muscle. So
Nothing.
we were really excited about Trevor. Talking about Trevor Roach, we were excited about where he was coming in. We thought he was going to be a huge factor. He had a great first couple weeks of practice, and then he tweaked his hamstring, and especially for a young kid, that kind of retards his development. But he's got to, we got to get him back out there. You got to get him back out there, even if he's not quite 100%, because for him, he needs reps. He needs to see it happening fast in front of him over and over and over again. That's the only way he's going to develop. So he's got a chance to help us this year. It's just how fast we can get him out of the training room onto the practice field.
What kind of camp has Chase Rome had? I know JP mentioned him as a guy up there at 2 deep right now.
Chase, he was having a great camp. He still is. I think for a guy who's playing, I always said this, for those D-line, the young D-linemen with their first go-around with running with the top groups, we expect, when you're 280, 290, and we expect you to run sideline to sideline, chase the ball downfield every play. I always think those young D linemen, when they're running with the top groups for the first time, are the guys who wear out toward the end of camp. And I kind of, we were really excited where Chase was a week ago. We still think he's going hard. We just think he needs to catch his second wind and get his pad level back down. But, we're just deep there. And he's another guy who I would have a lot of confidence in putting in there on Saturday. But they're all battling for reps, and who knows whether he's going to get 5 snaps or 30 snaps. I don't know right now. So.
Coach, what's the status on Cam Meredith?
Yeah, he's just not a very smart guy. But no, Cameron, he could. Let me put it this: if we played today, he'd be playing. And he's a really tough guy, and he understands his body and he knows what he can and can't do. We're just trying to get him 100%, and so we've also got guys like Joe Carter and Eric Martin who can use as many reps as we can give him. So at the same time, we're not, forcing Cameron back in too fast. We're also using that time to develop some of the guys who are probably going to have to play for us.
What's Anthony Blue's status? Is he?
I would have to let Bo address that. I know, Blue's had the 2 injuries and just frustrated with what's going on.
Has Kevin Williams been practicing, or has he been banged up a little bit too?
Kevin got banged up in a live drill the other day, and so he's been out for a couple days. And again, same deal. I think that's a tough position your first go-round when you're taking all the reps with the early guys, with the older guys.
What's your situation behind the 3 starters at linebacker right now?
Well, Matt May's back on the field, and we thought he had a great spring and a good early camp, and then he tweaked his hamstring. So now he's back on the field and practicing well. Whaley is really coming on strong at the buck position. We made that position change for him. It simplified things from a little bit, allowed him to be physical, and we like where he is right now. And it's that Mike linebacker position where we've got Fish taking snaps there to back up Will. You got Trevor, you got to get him back on the field, and David Santos, who we're force-feeding the rookie there as a backup too. So you got really 3 guys working there as a backup. We just got to have someone step up, and someone where we're very comfortable late finish games out, or if Will, knock on wood, we would need someone in there for Will that would be able to step in and we wouldn't have a drop.
Coach, are you where you expect to be with just the game just a week away?
What's that?
Are you where you expect to be with the game just a week away?
No, I mean, this is that time every year where a coach is scared to death with a week away, and because you just wish you were further, and we're fine. We're developmentally where we are. We're probably where we've been or ahead of where we've been, but it still scares you to death right now to think that you're a week away from your first game. You should just have so much you still feel like you need to get to.
Is there just a point where you start to feel the pressure of the new conference, the top 10 ranking, and the expectations at this point?
No, really. It's game to game. And I think what happens is, like I said, you feel overwhelmed when you start getting into that first game week. But then once you get into that game week, you get into the rhythm of the opponent, and you start to work on them specifically, and then everything starts to focus for you and focus for the guys, and then you just get into that season-long rhythm of week to week to week. So really, we're just at that point where you're not thinking big picture anymore. Starting tomorrow, we're starting to think about our first opponent, and all those things kind of go away at that point. And this is the tough week, that third week of camp, when you are thinking about the season-long things and what you've got to do and how you've got to get this team developed, and what the things that you want to become the fabric of your defense and the foundation of your defense. And starting tomorrow, it becomes more little picture, and that's when it gets easier for you as a coach and a lot easier as a player, because you can kind of focus on one team and their tendencies.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.